Hello to the curious and the thoughtful. It's Ellie again. Salespeople know this trick. The trick is to make it personal in order to close the sale. Headlines do the same thing. They're selling something and they do it with fear because fear is personal. Selling with fear is the second trick in the book. Fear selling, though, is not a new thing. It's actually really ancient. Tribes had shamans that warned of curses. Priests warned of eternal punishment, for example, and the rulers in the ancient world warned of enemies at the gate. Fear has always been the lever that you can easily pull to keep people loyal. And here's the truth. The beast that you fear is the beast that you feed. The more attention you give it, the stronger it grows, whether the beast is a god, a ruler, or a headline. In Egypt, the rulers used fear to keep people enslaved. In medieval Europe, fear of hell kept people obedient to the church. And Rome institutionalized fear, turning it into an empire. I've even shown in my recent series on the 7 heads of the beast that those 7 heads were not monsters out there. They were dark forces, or they are dark forces inside us that keep us trapped in a cycle of fear. It's still true today. Headlines, for example, ping backwards and forwards all the time. They ping between this far extreme gloating about the suffering or fall of someone else, or they express reasons to be fearful. Things like supply shortages end up in the headlines, or price increases are exacerbated in the headlines. Outrage cycles are constantly going around and around. It's angertainment, man, and it is the new institutionalized Roman Empire. This is how it works. When fear kicks in, our neurological system goes into the fight or flight mode, and our attention narrows because that's part of the survival instinct. We're going into a mini survival response. Our brain bypasses our rational thinking process because there's no time for rational thinking. We're in survival mode. It starts to grasp for certainty. And what that means is that we jump to conclusions in that environment because our brain is focused on this sense of urgency that then becomes artificially elevated. We have no space and no time, and we're bypassing the neural pathways that take us through the rational route. You can kind of liken it to price gouging during a famine, for example. So if your brain is in survival mode, you will probably, if you have it in your pocket, pay $50 for a loaf of bread when there's a famine and you're desperate. It's the same with headline-generated fear. It convinces you to buy the story that's being sold to you. But there's often an agenda behind that story, and so it's not a good idea to just buy everything you're being sold, regardless of who's selling it. You can protect yourself from falling into that trap. First, we know what comes first. We stop. Stop and pause. Ask yourself, what am I being sold here? Your rationale has had an opportunity to kick in. The levers of fear are being pulled everywhere we go. The solutions are actually often really simple, far easier than you think. They always involve stop. But it just takes willingness and practice. Step 1 is always to stop or pause long enough to let your rationale kick in. That's as simple as it is. That's as easy as it is. That's all it takes. If less of us are led around by the nose by all of these headlines and just take a moment to trust our intuition, we regain control over our future. And those levers of power start to crumble. If you enjoyed this video, there's always more in the playlist just waiting to be watched. Welcome to the new world. This is Ellie Dreams Down Under. I love knowing you're here, and I'll see you in my dreams.